You know what's scaring me is that my first beer at 8:15 in the morning is going down really easy. That's a bad sign for the rest of my day.
Whenever I answer the phone, I'm like, hello.
What pissed you off?
It's a great argument to have.
I love my mom, but I think she's half crazy for doing that.
How dare you?
Do you work with your girlfriend, Mark? Or your wife, Mark?
I keep them separated. Sometimes I call people, they don't answer the phone, I'm like,
Wrong number, click.
Well, he's not that smart, but sometimes he sounds like he knows what he's doing.
yeah.
Go.
But therefore, you're an ass, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, but what do we know? Hey, it's same with me, but I mean, it is the end of my day. That's the joy of night shift work. You don't have to be considered an alcoholic when you drink in the morning.
So, I mean, it's a little bit different for alcohol, but do you think it's sort of weird that we have this alcohol taboo before like 12 o'clock? Like, I know since coming to Asia.
You guys know me, I've never had that.
No, but since coming to Asia, like, breakfast isn't really a thing. Like, what do you eat for breakfast? It's what you would eat for lunch. And what you eat for lunch is what you eat for dinner. It's just another meal. It's not like you have to have eggs and cereal or French toast.
Well, I think anybody who drinks with the intention of like drinking in the morning just because they want to get drunk all day, that might be problematic. However, there's a lot of people who have like a glass of wine with lunch or with dinner just because they like the taste and relax with a glass. So if you did that at breakfast, I see absolutely no problem with that for most people, unless you have like a strict inability to have alcohol at your job. Like I would get in a lot of trouble if I went to my job drunk.
Well, and that's you guys have probably heard me yell about this before because I've been talking about it for a long time. Obviously, drunk driving is a horrible idea. I would never say that's okay. However, drinking and driving, if you want to have a beer on your way home, like if I leave work, stop at a party store, buy my work, and drink one beer while I'm going home, why is that bad?
So,
It's still,
well,
if I
that's
cross
funny. Because that becomes a whole different. If you got pulled over for that, that wouldn't even be drunk driving because you'd
right.
blow under the limit, but
Container.
it'd be an open intox law.
Right.
So in Louisiana, they don't have open intox law. I don't think it relates to the driver though. It's like passengers. Like you know how we have drive-through liquor stores in Michigan? They have drive-through liquor stores in Louisiana that literally hand you like, here is a mixed drink. Here's a margarita like on ice, like ready to go right now. But not to the driver. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Because if you're allowed to go to a bar, have a beer, and then drive home, as long as you're not over the limit, that's
Right.
legal. That's allowed.
Right.
And I would argue that if you're going to the bar and you're going to consume 3 or 4 beers, even if you're not drunk, your blood alcohol level is going to be way higher than me if I just worked a 16-hour day, want to stop at the liquor store and drink a beer on my way home.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
See, I'm sort of actually opposite, but not quite the same way. So here's
You'd rather drink
okay,
at
so,
work and then drive home drunk? Is that...
okay, so in Japan, as far as I know, you're allowed to have an open container whilst the car is moving. So as long as the driver doesn't have any alcohol, all the passengers can drink as much as they want in their vehicle. The law is that you cannot have any alcohol, or actually, I think the amount so small, it's pretty much 0% alcohol in your blood system while driving. And I think that's the best law. I don't think the drinking and driving laws in America make any sense at all, because it's one of those laws where you don't know if you're breaking the law. Now, obviously, if you have maybe half a beer, one beer, you're not going to be most likely driving over the legal blood alcohol limit. But if you get to 2 to 3 beer range and you're a smaller person, you're straddling that line. And there's like lots of variations, right? So like I know when I'm committing a crime when I'm breaking into someone's house. I know when I'm committing a crime, stealing stuff from a store. But when you're driving and driving drunk, you really never can be a really good judge of how drunk you are and if you're over the limit, I think.
We used to have at my fraternity house. I mean, this is bad. Like this is not. Don't follow my lead, everybody out there. But it was like the 15-minute rule. We go over and meet some of the girls from one of the sororities, and we'd go over and take a couple shots with them, pound a couple beers, and then we'd head back to the fraternity house, like to like finish partying at the fraternity house. And it was okay as long as it was like within the 15-minute rule. Because if you drink and then drive within 15 minutes, it hasn't hit your bloodstream yet. So we were like, that's fine with us. That's a horrible, horrible thing to have because oftentimes we'd end up chilling, relaxing for a lot longer than the 15 minutes and not realize that we were there for so long because in our minds, it's 15-minute rule. But we didn't go like, stopwatch, let's do this. But
right. And I'm not in any way saying, I should leave work and pound a bunch of shots and try to get home quick before it enters my bloodstream.
Damn it, I'm stuck in traffic. Well, better pull over.
That's not what I'm advocating. But the whole, so in my particular situation, if I work a 16, 18-hour day, like I'm not leaving work until, sometimes really late at night, like 11 or midnight or something like that, where I know I'm coming home to a house where everyone is sleeping. And like, so it's not like I'm trying to slam a beer quick before I get home and have to deal with my kids. No, it's just like, I'm trying to unwind after a long day because I know I have to go back in the next day. So for me to like drink one beer on my way home is, and I bet there's lots of other people kind of, maybe not in the same exact situation, but I can see where a bachelor going home after a day, what's the big deal? Well, you still have to be responsible for managing your own blood alcohol level, but
right. And the big deal is, and this is why I don't think the drinking and driving laws are really good, is that what does alcohol do to you? It makes you have bad decision making, right?
So it impairs. It doesn't necessarily make you have bad decision making. It makes you have impaired decision making.
Ability to make a decision.
Who knows? You might make a better decision because you're drunk, right. But that's not the norm.
Right, it's true. But yeah, I mean, when you're drinking beer, a lot of times the really good idea that pops into your head is, "Man, I should drink more beer." So
I see nothing wrong with this. Go on.
Guilty.
So using that logic, then, when you start drinking alcohol at all, you basically are going to be leaning to drinking more alcohol, knowing that you're going to have to drive when you're drunker. So the law should be, I think, similar to Japan, where it's 0% alcohol. If you're going to be going anywhere and drinking alcohol, you make your plans ahead of time because you know there's no way for you to legally
I think you're completely basing this argument, however, Mark, on the fact that anybody who drinks alcohol, once they start drinking, they want to drink more. And I don't think you can say that unequivocally.
No.
Granted, when I have a beer out, yes, I usually want to have another one. I fall into probably what you're saying on the desire for more beer once I start having, what a couple up to a certain point or whatnot. But I don't think everybody's like that by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, but I mean, my point is, let's say you want to drive safe and responsible, right, Jeff? And you're at a party for, let's say, 2 hours. How many drinks do you think you can have and drive under the 0.08 blood alcohol limit?
If I slammed 2 right when I got there, I bet in 2 hours I'd be okay to leave. If I drank 2 throughout the time frame, I might be teetering up on that level. That's the thing, is you don't know. Unless you had like a blood alcohol content machine or whatever.
Right.
Like,
and then you'll be like me, like the first couple of times, you're like, oh, I drank 3 beers, and that was 2 hours. And I think I was okay. And then maybe you do this for several times, and you're like, well, I drank 4 beers, and I'm okay. But maybe you're not okay. And then you drink 5 beers. Like, a lot of people think they have a higher tolerance, but that doesn't affect your blood alcohol limit.
That is true.
Well, for me, it goes back to the drug conversation we had. It's like, make people responsible for their own actions. I mean, as an adult, and yes, this area is grayed when you're 21, 22, 23, somewhere in there. But, you know, as we're not older guys, but we're in our 30s at this point. Like, we're pretty good at knowing, where our level is and not getting behind the wheel. Well, especially Mark, if he can't touch a drop now and get behind the wheel.
I choose not
But
to.
but I'm a big advocate of letting people kind of enforce themselves, and the
Right.
rest will take care of it.
Right.
So,
But then the question becomes, that would be true if driving drunk was only affecting you. But we have these
that's
laws to
true.
protect other people.
Yeah, you're right about that. But I mean, a zero blood alcohol level is kind of
So
if I know for a fact that if I'm a DD and I'm going into an evening, I know I'm the DD, I can control myself, as an adult who doesn't need to just keep slamming beers. So why should I be penalized as someone who can control themselves?
Well, I don't want to sound like all nanny state on you, but .08 has been proven is not the starting point where you start being impaired.
I
So, I
agree with
mean,
that for sure.
so .08, I mean, it also depends on the person. Like me, I hardly drink alcohol now. So if I start drinking even a little bit of alcohol, I am a lot more impaired than somebody who drinks alcohol on a more regular basis. So like I said, this .08, it's very arbitrary. It's
Hmm.
not necessarily a very effective manner for people to be able to make sure they're below the limit before they drive. I think the only way to really make it safe is to do a blanket system where it's basically zero.
So, looking at this from a different perspective, I know just to play like a devil's advocate type of scenario, I think where I live in DC, you could easily throw in a no alcohol or you go to jail law, and everybody would still be able to function as normal because the public transportation system is so,
Right.
well done and things like that. A lot of people walk. It's not necessarily everybody's driving to work. In a place where we grew up in like Flint, that would probably cripple bars. If
Well, they still have taxis and stuff. There were a couple scenarios in my younger years where I ended up taking a taxi home or something. Now it's not like a great
DC.
system for sure because there were nights when, and I only did this a handful of times, but there were nights I had to wait like 45 minutes for a taxi or something,
I
which
wonder,
is a
I
ridiculous
think I
amount of time.
remember you walking like in downtown Flint back home. You're like, oh, I'm at a party. I'll just walk home like an hour away through a bad neighborhood.
but I mean, our
Not my finest
infrastructure,
moment.
yeah, our infrastructure in Flint's not nearly like a normal busy downtown area like Washington D.C. or New York or something like that. I wonder if Uber is in Flint area more, and if it would like really drive up their
Ooh,
business. But they also
could
they
you,
used go on.
if there was an Uber service set up in Flint, would you get in the car with that person? Like that would be a scary proposition right there. Can you
You would have to have
imagine
a
who
pretty
would
high
show up to
rating
pick you?
beforehand, right?
Well, I don't know what Uber's like.
I actually used it, by the way. Did I tell you guys that?
No, and I've used it multiple times.
I just used it for my first time. We had my wife and I my wife's aunt volunteered to come down on a Saturday night and stay at our house with our kids so that we could have like an actual date night. And we went and got a hotel by Ann Arbor. And we knew we both wanted to go out and try a bunch of the bars in downtown Ann Arbor and stuff, and we didn't want to worry about driving. So we that's what we did. We did Uber from the hotel to downtown Ann Arbor and kind of walked around and did our thing
And
down there and then got Uber on the way home. It's the thing I can say about Uber for anyone who hasn't used it in kind of a major area like that. It's just a lot like taxis. In fact, I felt like both our drivers had been taxi drivers at one point. They were
they probably
very
make more money.
professional
Yeah.
and
That's the way most of them are in DC. They're ex taxi drivers and they make more money with Uber. That's why they switched over.
Right.
but it was a very positive experience for me.
And I think that's sort of like the chicken and egg thing, Jeff. You're like, well, there's not a very good, taxi service where we lived, but that's partly because there wasn't a need for.
Well, and that's what I was wondering, like kind of playing the devil's advocate on, would something like that be a problem? But also, would it expand a whole different business if you actually implemented that laws in these areas that don't have this type of, infrastructure set up?
And I'll tell you honestly, I told you Japan has a zero alcohol tolerance. So anyone that goes to a bar and stuff, they need someone driving or they get a taxi. And I live in a really small town, like smaller than Goodrich probably now. And there's plenty of taxis. So I don't think it's an issue here in Japan. So I would assume, unless you live like way, way in the boondocks in the States, that it would be okay after a while.
Well, yeah, but there's an economy issue that goes along with all that stuff. I mean, like the whole, Flint, Detroit, it's all just going to garbage because the economy's still shot in those areas. Unemployment, the foreclosure.
Like a taxi driver in the Flint area. Like, can you imagine the people they pick up on any given night?
Probably. Wow. Yeah, it would probably be a little bit scary.
You'd be putting your life in your own hands every time you went on a call.
Yeah, they talk about, like, police officers and firefighters going out there and putting themselves on the line. Man, taxi driver in downtown Flint, you probably take the cake.
Right.
Did I ever tell you guys about my business idea? And actually, now that I think about it, I think maybe I heard that somebody did this at this point. I always thought about this, and this goes back maybe like 10 years.
Is it an iPod?
No, it's on
if it is, I think somebody might have done it.
And by the way, if one of our listeners actually want to take the ambition and do this, just make sure you send me royalty checks. That's all.
Us.
Yeah.
No, me personally, because it's my idea. Anyways, what if you created it's kind of like a taxi service, except there's two of you. And you drive to whatever bar you pick someone up at, but the other person...
They've had those
it's
for
already
years.
See, I thought maybe, but I didn't know. What's the company? Is there a big company that does it?
The place I knew the most about it was at Players in Novi, where I used to hang out all the time when I lived out in Novi. They in the bathroom, they had the signs for them right above the urinals all over the place. By the way, a great spot for reading material. I don't know why more places don't put reading material right behind the urinal.
I've wondered that too, actually.
Or they just line even a normal toilet stall with reading material. I don't see that too often either. There's a few places that do, but not enough.
Although now, like, everybody has smartphones where you can just look on the internet. Although at the urinal, it's still kind of awkward.
Okay, so
what's up, dude?
I mean,
I've texted there before at the urinal before, but it's not as ideal as,
You got to do it one-handed.
No, I was going to say, well, you don't have to. You just have to have better control. What's going on?
Yeah.
Just texting.
Shaking someone's hand. Hey, yeah, how's it going? Yeah, we're pretty good.
Whoa, third person's in here. That's not my hand, buddy.
Too.
Yes, but the get your car home is the whole concept of those things, and but the problem with them, and I know people have used them a few times. They're super freaking expensive. They're worth it in the morning, but at the time when it's like you're at somewhere getting $2 pints or something like that, and all of a sudden a taxi cab wants to charge you, or this service is going to charge you like $70 to get your car home, and you've only really spent $10 in drinks. See,
why would you need? My thought when I was thinking about doing this is, why does it need to be any more than a taxi, really? Because you're not going any further distance, and you're using the person's gas. Like, you're not spending any extra money to do it. Maybe insurance.
I think it's just because it's a niche market that you have to like call specifically. There's got to be two people on call, even though there really doesn't. It's just got to be two people that aren't drinking that night, that are just waiting for like a phone to go off, and But it was really expensive. But yes, the concept is already gone.
Right.
All right, never mind then. Forget it. I had somebody else's idea.
You probably were like drunk one night at the bar at the urinal, going, what would be a great idea? As you're like reading it off at the front, that would be a great idea.
But let's just be a segue. Talking about the bathrooms, how to improve bathrooms. This is 2015, and some of this stuff just blows my mind that we haven't like fixed the bathroom problem in America. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Are you
Like
talking?
you
Are
can
you
probably
talking?
think of 10 or 20 different ideas.
Are you talking things like making stall doors that don't have giant freaking gaps in them? Like, is that
That's
like the
one of
types of
them.
things you're
That's
talking about?
Yeah, I don't understand, like, because it's not that we don't have that kind of issue here in Japan. Why is it in America that they just can't build the doors without those huge gaps?
I don't know. Like, so now that I live in DC, DC's got a whole different bathroom situation than most places. Most places in DC, it's single bathrooms that are unisex.
Yeah.
So there's men's, women's, doesn't matter. It's all one line. It's usually a single bathroom. I think that has to do with like the sizes of the bars as well. But even the bigger places that do have separated bathrooms, a lot of them just have normal doors on the bathroom, on the stalls.
I love it. That's going to be another thing. I don't understand why we have segregated bathrooms anymore.
So
Now, now they are segregated in Japan in most places, but I think they should take away segregated bathrooms.
That would be a disaster.
Why?
it works okay in DC. I think it helps women and hinders men because of the fact that what they need to do, if they separate bathrooms, they need to have 3 bathrooms. Maybe, I don't know, a number I guess doesn't matter, but let's say you had your standard men's and women's that you've now turned into unisex, just open them up and let everybody go in. You need to do that and do a third one and have the urinal. Because you can get in and out of that urinal so much
fast.
quicker. And if you just had like a urinal room versus like the stall room that you just made unisex, I'm great with that. But when my
Actually, that's what-
urinal is, I'm have to wait behind 10 chicks who need to like spend 10 minutes in the bathroom putting on their makeup. You know, granted, obviously that's an exaggeration on the general. But at a bar, girls take longer in the bathroom on average.
Which is why there's always a line at the woman.
I'm not saying that we should get rid of the urinal. I think the urinal should still be there.
But is it still
It's
in
just-
those 2 unisex bathrooms? Because then I'm still waiting
Yeah.
behind the girls who are in the bathroom.
No, the only thing that you would wait for equally would be basically the toilet.
Oh, you're saying that open big bathroom, the stalls, but
I was going to
everybody
say
goes into
that's
the
what I
same
thought he
bathroom.
was
Oh,
saying.
sorry.
And I think that would be a mess.
I think it's only a mess because we have these inch-long gaps and these huge gaps on the floor.
Guys will be watching the girls through the gap,
Right.
like, oh, look at
I mean,
me.
I understand there's like a privacy scare or whatever, but I mean, if the bathroom, like the enclosure that you go to use the toilet, was actually an enclosure that nobody could look into, it's just like going into a different room to use the
But
toilet.
I think about it from like all the kind of sorry Flint, but bottom of the barrel people I used to hang out with in Flint bars, you know. Like, can you imagine if those bathrooms were unisex, big areas with all kinds like we have enough trouble with violent crimes and sexual assault and things in Flint. Like it'd be horrible if people were drunk in the same bathrooms all the time.
I can't imagine what would happen in a unisex bathroom versus what would happen now. 'Cause
Well, can you imagine a chick trying to use the trough at the ribbon? I mean, it just would.
well, of course, they wouldn't be using the trough because unless those women have some kind of special tool.
Well, they might stick their leg up on the edge of it.
I mean,
Like in Step
understand.
Brothers.
Like in Step Brothers, yep.
As long as the enclosures are, basically room closets for every single toilet, the toilet should be able to be used by both women and men equally. Urinals for men that go faster to make the lines shorter for everyone. You only have to use one set of faucets. You don't have to double up. And the
So you
bathroom
mean they might
itself
actually
should
get
be
to
bigger.
put hot water in the faucets?
Yeah, why
As
not?
opposed to just cold at all the bars?
And I suppose that the women's couch would move in so everyone could use the women's couch.
True. Though it might earn us a couch. It might earn the guys a couch.
Yeah. So
So I I don't know. I'm with you in concept. I get the concept, but I'm also with Mike with problems that could arise in certain locales and things like that. So,
Well, and I'm not nearly as kind of weirded out by the like gaps in the doors. Like I've talked about this before. Like I work at a steel mill, you know, where it's like, you know, guys mess with each other in the bathroom all the time. Like it's not like
this is gonna get weird.
no, it was. It's
I work
not
in a steel
weird,
mill. Guys mess with each other in the bathroom.
like okay, well, I won't say this guy's name. Anybody who I work with, if they listen to this, will know exactly who I'm talking about. But I so I went in the guy's bathroom and I step up to the urinal and there's another guy who's who's at a urinal next to me, and I'm just doing my thing, you know, looking straight ahead at the wall. Next thing I know, he taps me on the shoulders. So I turn over to look at him. He has his shirt up under his chin and his pants down around his ankles. He says, "Hey, what's going on?"
okay.
So like so like, you know, having a little gap in the door is nothing compared to a guy completely naked standing next to me.
Yeah, Mike doesn't care about the gap in the door. He sees penises all the time at the urinal. Like,
It's just not a weird thing with guys at a steel mill. Like, I don't know.
I guess nothing is sacred at a steel mill. Now, can you imagine, Mark, if women were in that bathroom?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's exactly where my head goes, is like a woman in one of those bathrooms. I've literally had someone come into the bathroom in the stall next to me and stand up on the toilet and look over the thing.
Well, I mean, I was actually going to say
Actually,
that,
it was the same guy.
I kind of imagined that it was the same guy.
Well, I imagine it'd be the other way around, where, like, because I hear from a lot of women that, like, the women's bathroom is disgusting and it's like the most horrible thing ever. So it might be the other way around, where men wouldn't want to share with women because the toilets aren't as clean.
But why would that be?
I'm not exactly sure. I would imagine maybe something to do with their time of the month. Maybe also that I've heard of women like squatting with their shoes on the toilet seat, so that gets the toilet seat a lot dirtier.
But if it's
that
a
really
women's
happen?
if it's a women's only bathroom, why is the toilet seat all dirty in the first place?
I don't know. What
I
women
understand
do
that when they
with
say that about like outhouses and porta johns and things like that, because there's guys using them as well. And so in the porta john, I think one of the greatest inventions in the porta john was the fact that they have the urinal thing on the side of them now.
Mm.
Why is the toilet seat always still full of piss when there's the urinal thing right there?
Guys do
There's
weird
probably
stuff.
women squatting on the toilet seat.
But I would guess that women squat on the toilet seat because of the fact that it's already dirty.
All right.
I wish we had a woman we could bring into this conversation
Wish
to
we
help
did
us out
too.
with this.
Anybody
But-
have a Skype list available?
Here, let me put you in the right frame of mind, Mike.
I think there should be more TVs in more bathrooms.
That's
I don't
fine.
know about TVs. I mean, I don't think they need to be TVs. But you know what
do.
needs to be put into a bathroom? Music. Or
See-
some kind of noise.
See, I say TVs because I like to go to bars to watch games.
Right.
And I want to be able to still watch the game. Like places like Buffalo Wild Wings, when they have the TVs, like the little TVs in the wall. I think that's great. It's
Yeah, I do
annoying
too.
when they have multiple different games on and one other dude. I'm not waiting behind a guy at the urinal because he's got the game that I want to see versus using the other one and getting back out there and watching the main thing. But I mean, that's not, that's a small complaint about it. But I don't think enough places do that have
Well,
the
sure.
opportunity. Like I worked at a sports bar for a while. It had this small little location had like 20 TVs, like TVs everywhere, But you go to the bathroom and it's like you can't hear anything, you can't see anything, like you have no idea what's going. You're like literally, I'm watching a game, run to the bathroom, piss as fast as I can, and get back there because I don't want to miss what's happening.
Well, and why wouldn't you want a quiet place in the bathroom? Like, the bar's really noisy. You go to a mall and they have music playing. You go in an elevator, they have music playing, and you go to use the toilet and it's dead silent. Like you can hear a pin drop, and you're
Well,
expelling gas and other excrement. And it's sort of like, having noise right here wouldn't be that bad.
right, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Well, and you have some people who are like bladder shy or whatever, who,
Right.
if it's totally quiet, they're going to have trouble. But
Now, they make noise canceling earphones. Do you think they can make noise canceling bathrooms or noise canceling toilets? I mean, that could be an invention right there.
soundproofing a room is actually really hard.
How about soundproofing a toilet?
I don't know if
And
you
if you're
guys,
sitting on it in the right way, it makes the loudest bathroom experience seem minuscule.
I don't think that's possible.
But yeah, that's the naysayer in you right there. Why do you think it hasn't been invented yet? Not because
Well-
it's impossible, because people think it's impossible. And when you make the impossible, you get rich.
Japan, they actually do the opposite.
They make the
in-
toilet
They add
louder.
farting noises to every
They
bathroom.
make
There's
they actually-
a PA system under every toilet. Speakers out in the main area. Like,
excuse me. No,
Ear popping sounds, yeah.
no. Apparently, because some people get shy in the bathroom, they flush the toilet when they have to pee or whatever. So instead of wasting water, they actually some of these heated, bidet, futuristic bathroom seats in Japan, they actually have a button that actually makes like a flushing noise. So you just press it instead of actually flushing the toilet.
oh yeah, that's
So-
not a bad idea. That's taking a problem that exists and solving it in a way that is more green. I like that outside of the box thinking. It should just be a button that actually punches you in the bladder and says, "Just fucking go!" Like, don't be shy. But I mean, we can start small with the flushing sound and move.
I'm
on
sorry to
from
tell you,
there.
Jeff. That idea's already been made. Just like that.
Oh,
I mean,
Oh.
I can piss on a person's shoes. I don't care. I don't get bladder shy. I don't understand the concept of those who do. I understand people who don't like to pull their pants down next to somebody else. That freaks them out. The fact that they can't physically go because pee because somebody's there. I don't get that. It baffles me.
someone told me, and maybe this is wrong, but someone told me that in Europe, like they have outdoor kind of like urinals, just like in parks and things, where it's kind of like a three-sided
up.
thing that you just step up to and do your business out in the open, and like I could totally do that.
I think they had one of those. I remember being a kid and going to the original Tiger Stadium. I
Right.
think I went there and they had it was a big circle that guys just stood around, and it was literally you standing, so you're looking at the guy across from you, and everybody's like peeing into the same general area. And as a kid, the reason I remember this is because I thought it was a fountain, and no, I didn't drink out of it. I didn't drink out of it. I jumped in it, and no, I'm just kidding. But I started to reach down, reaching toward it because I thought it was like some type of fountain, not a drinking fountain, but one of the fountains that you
playing with it, yeah.
right.
touch.
And I was playing, and my dad was like, "No, that's not that's not a fountain, Jeff. That's where people pee." I mean,
And then Jeff peed in every fountain he saw.
and I went to the park and peed in the fountain.
We still can't get Jeff to stop peeing in fountains.
But that used to
Don't
be
bring a fondue pot or one of those chocolate fountains.
that used to be a standard. I will tell you, I worked for the government for a while when I was younger, and I remember being baffled by the fact that they had these old school these old school urinals that literally they stuck out from the wall as much as a toilet did, but there was no seat on them to sit on. It was literally a urinal because there was still the stall over there in the little stall area next to it, and it was shaped a little bit different, but it stuck out that far, and you used to walk up to it, and there was no dividers, and you just unzipped and like peed in it. And I remember being like, because I was 19 years old when I started working there, and I was like, these dudes, like, I mean, you literally have, there's no way to hide anything. Like a lot of people, if there's no divider and there's a urinal, you get into it a little bit and you kind of like, you're sheltered like that or whatever. But this was literally, I'm just standing out like 2 feet away from it. And then they actually, that same like month, they put dividers in all these things because I think there was some complaints. But there's some places out there that still have these old school systems because I guess people didn't care as much back then and people are more conservative about it now. Which is weird that we're more conservative now than we were back then.
Right, but you talk about being pee shy, but I also really like prefer having urinals with that divider. Don't you?
I mean, I do. I prefer it, but I'm not gonna not pee because it isn't.
You just
there.
punch yourself. You just make yourself go.
Exactly. I just know. I'm like, hey Jeff, like.
I don't think I really have a preference. I don't think I care. If that makes sense. Now, one thing that is a pain in the butt about bathrooms when you have kids, especially my boy is 4 in potty training, is our bathroom is impossible to keep clean at this point because he's constantly peeing and he's like just barely. He's got the small bladder going, but he doesn't. I mean, he gets the concept of aiming, but he's 4, so he's not super regimented in it and doesn't understand that if he pees, outside of the toilet, like it's dirty.
And that somebody else has to clean it up. Like...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like cleaning my bathroom has become a part-time job for me at this point.
Well, you got to be used to it. I mean, I remember you had a guest. I don't remember exactly his name, but he did wander into your kitchen and peed all over your refrigerator.
In the fridge.
In the refrigerator. So you got to be careful,
I heard he's living in Japan now.
Yeah, that's what I hear too. That weirdo. I hear Japanese people like that.
That was the funniest thing I ever remember happening just because of such shock factor of what is happening right now. Like...
And this is another case that I want to bring up where alcohol leads to bad decision making.
However, said person did clean it up in the morning. I remember that. I remember waking up and he had already cleaned my fridge.
And I don't believe it's illegal to do what you did, so I don't know if it really drives much of your point home. I mean, what this guy did.
Yes, yeah. Okay, going back to the bathroom though. Let me ask you: is there something really useless that you find in a public bathroom?
Really useless?
Yeah, the most useless thing in a public bathroom.
I have a feeling I know exactly what you're gonna say, and I don't know if I'll have a rebuttal or not, but I don't know. I'm curious where you're going with this.
Yeah, I am too.
Okay, so what's your guess, Jeff?
My guess is that you're gonna say the air dryer, because nobody uses it.
That is one of my things that I really hate about public bathrooms right now, but it's not the most useless.
I like the
the toilet seat covers.
I don't even know if I've seen those in a bathroom in
I've seen
ages.
them. Like you see them every once in a while.
I see dispensers for them a lot, but they're usually empty, which either means they get used that much or they haven't refilled them in years. Like,
or just like one person takes the whole thing because that's the only way that it's effective.
I guess the other thing, I could say there's something useless in a bathroom, but it's usually not in ours, but we brought it up earlier, is the couch that's in like some women's bathrooms. Or that stupid guy who sits there and tries to sell you cologne and shit. That guy's useless.
I hate
the bathroom attendant?
Yeah.
Worst job, worst.
I get so mad at the bathroom attendant when I go to a place that has a bathroom attendant and they take away the ability to dry your hands without them giving you the object to dry your hands, trying to earn a tip. I'm sorry, I'm not tipping you for handing me the towel after I washed my hands after taking a piss. Like,
I agree, that is frustrating for sure. However, I remember, and this goes back a long time at this point, but like when I was dating, if I was ever in an establishment with a bathroom attendant, I always appreciated like the mints.
Did you ever tip for the mints?
I
I
see.
probably did.
Okay.
I'm sure I
Okay,
probably.
were they wrapped?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just pulls them out of his pocket with his bare
No,
hand. Like,
sometimes they have like this
"Here, have a
dish.
couple."
They have like the dish where people like grab.
Well, usually,
And in the
usually when it's the
bathroom,
dish in the bathroom, it's
That
still
would-
the wrapped peppermint like.
Yeah, I was gonna say
candies.
usually it's that.
That would be interesting to see if they were the unwrapped, like the chalky like mints. I think
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, and those are the worst mints too.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't even taste good.
and they get
Okay.
they get chewy. Weird.
I'll tell you what they do in Japan instead of the toilet seat covers. They actually have like a dispenser that sprays out like an almost like alcohol mist, and you just take some toilet paper, you spray the toilet paper with this alcohol mist, and you just wipe down the toilet seat.
You're not
And it-
getting people in America to wipe down their own toilet seat as opposed to using a seat cover.
I think if
I
you
would
could make sure
definitely
that
do
it
that.
doesn't have like, because I mean I do that in the U.S. even when like you see something that looks like piss and you're wiping that shit down with as much toilet paper as you can.
So
I'd rather have.
I would totally do
some
that. Actually,
Purell
that's a
that
really good idea, I think.
see, I don't think I would at all. But at the same time, I don't care. I deal
Yeah,
with
well-
I deal with so many germs on a daily basis that
And
that
that's-
stuff doesn't bother me at all.
That's what I was going to say is that I've never used a toilet seat cover either, and I've had access to them at times. So, like, germs don't bother me enough to where I think I would do either one. But if I was going to do one or the other, it would definitely be the alcohol. Like, I mean, we talked about me constantly cleaning my bathroom. That is, that's like a regiment now with my boy peeing all over the place is, the
Yeah.
Clorox wipes or whatever all over the seats and things because he's constantly peed on them.
You know how I wish we could get into this conversation? I wish Brian was around right now. Because, Brian's a guy who used to he made the nest every time he goes and uses a bathroom.
Yeah, I wish we would have thought of this. We could have totally got him on. He keeps bugging me to come on here.
We should,
So
man.
you would just take
It's
like
over
the
to-
squares and just
Yeah.
put them all on the seat. Yeah.
Yep, and he
He
built.
would. I'm sure he would be all for this alcohol rubbing down.
Oh, I
the-
guarantee he would too. He probably carries some with him on a regular basis.
Well, yeah, you know what he probably does is use the Purell on the
Mhm.
toilet.
Because I know
mean,
he used to like carry all kinds of sanitizers and things all around all the time.
Yeah.
It
Right.
always had like car fresheners, like a mass amount of them in his glove box, just in case his current air freshener, decided to not
you have to have
smell
that
strong.
Spontaneously
No.
combusts. Damn it! There goes another one. That
Well-
would be comical.
So let's talk about this hand dryer. Have you ever had your hands actually dried by them?
If you wait long enough.
Yeah, I like those.
I hate them.
I don't like them, I will say. The Excel ones I like. The super loud, like they sound like a rocket ship taking off. Because I think they do a pretty good job of getting my hands dry in a short amount of time. I wonder how much more electricity it takes to do that compared to, because the whole concept of the air dryers is that you're more green than using like wasting all the paper towels and things like that, or like the awesome roll that just spins back onto
Right.
itself. I find
Yeah.
that one hilarious, but
I like that, like those towels.
Yeah,
right? Real
yeah.
actual towels.
I feel like you get super amount of like germs on there and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically they get cleaned. I have no idea. Then there's that one that they made where you're supposed to put your hands down in it like this and like slowly pull them out.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And well, it's a I don't know. We have a couple at the hospital. I do find it funny that the first ones we had installed, the sign on it literally says put your hands in and like slowly pull them out, and basically it's supposed to drip the water down to the bottom and into the little reservoir. And now they all say move your hands back and forth. So I think they realized it wasn't actually drying people's hands like they thought it was supposed to.
Well, and I think another part of it is it's supposed to be sanitary, but they did a MythBusters episode where they show that basically when you have that air blowing, it just
It's blowing
like,
the germs
it
all
blows
around the bathroom. Yeah, I did.
water
I saw
vapors all
that.
over.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
as long as-
I'm not a germ guy. Like
Eh?
you're literally talking
like
to
when you say
someone.
not a germ guy, not a germaphobe, or not a guy who likes germs, like
No, I'm not a germaphobe. Like you're literally talking to a guy who I dropped a I dropped a cough drop on the floor
Oh,
of my work office where people are constantly coming in big heavy boots, dripping crap all over the place, and I just picked it up and ate it. I didn't even brush it off or anything. Like no, and everyone who saw me was like, "That's disgusting. Why'd you just do that?" Like, so what? It's a little germ. So, like, the germs don't bother me. The aspect of the air drying, hand thing that I like is that I feel like it does a good job. Especially, well, and when you're worried about, germs, if you're worried about germs, like the paper towel things or, like the towel things that you have to pump down and rest.
I don't
So
like those.
everybody like touches that with their hands.
well,
So
that's why they've made them all the wave ones now
Right. Or you
because
do what I do is you pump it first, then wash your hands, and then you rip it.
yeah,
So you
that's
don't
true, but
touch
it
it
seems
again.
like a lot of planning to have to dry my hands.
I plan ahead.
I don't want that frustration.
and
Oh.
what if the door is too far away from the garbage can?
Yeah, you got to touch the door too.
I just throw it in the corner.
It's a disaster.
Bro.
And I think
That's
that's what I was gonna say. I think a lot of people do. I think when the garbage can is too far away from the door, there's a pile of toilet paper of paper towel just like on the ground because people are like, open the door with paper towel
Okay.
and I'm done.
And the last thing that I would do to fix bathrooms is because we just got done talking about washing your hands, drying them, and then you have to go out the door and you touch the door handle because whatever this place decided it's not like a push or a push door to get out. Why don't we have automatic doors for the bathroom?
I think that's only a matter of time, probably. I think probably all your doors are going to be automatic
I think that's just a matter of expense.
on a time. Yeah, exactly.
That's
I think I would love a place. I would probably go to a place specifically if they had automatic doors for bathrooms.
Well, and think about I would say most public bathrooms you go to. Like, there's going to be a huge ratio of people just moving around in the bathroom and the door opening for no reason to people actually going in and out. Like, there's never a bathroom that, well, not never, but a lot of times the bathroom is not big enough to where you can just move about freely until you're ready to leave, and then that's the only time the door is going to open.
you could make it a force field that you only see through one direction and you just seamlessly
Well, maybe
walk
it's-
right through
Well,
it.
Well, maybe my unisex bathroom wouldn't have a door for the entrance, only for the stalls and maybe the urinals.
Well, that's true. Some of them like have like the windy hallway that don't have doors, but you can't see back into it.
I think at a minimum though, bathrooms should allow you to push your way out without having to like turn a handle. I do appreciate those bathrooms where you just instead of using your hands you can use your foot or
Just to have the door not latch essentially, so you can just push
Yeah.
it open.
yeah.
I mean, that would make sense. That'd be easy to do, you'd think. I don't think it'll go automatic though, because I think that'll just be expense that somebody doesn't want to spend.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, hell, we don't
Although-
even have automatic doors on the bathrooms at a hospital.
Right.
And
You would think
most
you
of the
would
doors are
though.
automatic.
Why not? Maybe you should bring that up and get a promotion.
Oh,
for
why?
your-
Yeah, get a promotion.
idea.
Why? So they can spend even more money to not pay me?
Yeah.
Come on, in the middle of contract
Although-
negotiations, they won't even give us anything, like let alone be like, hey, I'd like automatic doors on the bathrooms, please, and a couch,
Well, I
some
mean,
TVs.
a lot of sickness actually gets spread around in a hospital, though, right? That would be a good way to lower amount of people getting sick.
I doubt it.
I'm always kind of the opinion where the more germs you kind of take in, the healthier you are for the most part.
That's
So-
why I'm not a fan of the Purell. The people who carry Purell and give it to their like kids, like from a, it's proven that their
It drives
immune
me
systems,
completely insane.
their immune systems aren't up to par because they've been sheltered from so much stuff all their lives that when they actually get something, it's devastating.
In
Right.
fact,
It's gotta be a good balance.
I swing too far the other way. Like I won't use hand lotion. I won't use like chapstick because I feel like all that is just robbing my body of the ability to do it for
Just
itself.
throwing cough drops on the floor.
I haven't
No,
used.
that was a legitimate fumble. I just dropped it.
Yeah, I haven't used chapstick in probably since I was like 10. And there's other people. Speaking of which, we really should have gotten Brian here. Like he's like addicted to it. He has to have chapstick all the time. There's a large section of the population that has that same like addiction to chapstick. And
Right.
I don't even know if it's an addiction. But
yeah, well, go ahead.
I think people just think like it helps their lips stay dry. And when I'm of the totally opposite opinion, where I think most of the human body, and we've learned this from kind of evolution, is that once you tell your body it doesn't need to do something, eventually on a long enough timeline, it's going to stop doing it. So why would you tell it doesn't need to keep moisturizing your lips or skin when it clearly does? You're just adding an agent to do it so that your body doesn't have to. So why would I do that and screw myself up?
That's what the appendix used to do.
Used to moisten your lips.
The lip moistening organ. God, it all makes sense now.
We're solving a lot of problems here today.
I think it's just one of those things, though. Like, if you're used to having chapsticks on your lips, there's like that couple-day lag between your lips feeling dry to the point where you're just used to your lips feeling the way it is. I think that's all it is.
I'm not sure.
Or it's a conspiracy because they put crack in it too.
Could be that.
I would believe that one.
Government mind control.
I guess that's why I'm not
crack's
addicted.
so
'Cause
cheap.
I haven't used it in so long. My body doesn't know that there's crack in there. Maybe I should buy some
That's right.
chapstick.
You're like disconnected from the Matrix at this point.
Damn. Kind of sounds fun.
Want to follow us on social media? Like the What Do We Know Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter at WDWK Podcast. Email us at wdwkpodcast@gmail.com or find us at our home on the interwebs, wdwkpodcast.com.